talking to you about design systems. Design systems are very important part of your UI design project. It makes your work faster and very easy to accomplish. So very quickly, we'll be looking at style guides and component. But before then, let's take a look at the definition of design systems. What is a design system? A design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards that can be assembled together to build any number of applications. Design systems include style guides and components. So it's a collection of reusable components. That means, take for instance, in your mobile app, you will notice that there are buttons, more than one buttons. You understand? So creating a design system, button is one of your design. Don't worry, we'll talk more about that. But just take note of the definition. Design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards that can be assembled together to build any number of applications. That means when you are building multiple applications, you don't need to recreate those design systems. You already have them and you can use them often and often. So very quickly, design systems features layouts, colors, typography, components, material theming, design resource files, mobile guidelines, starter kits, and lots more. Don't worry about this. I know this is like the definition part. We're going to go into practical session in a very short while, but before then, stay with me. So design systems are divided or categorized into two parts. We have the style guide and we have the components. I'll show you all of these things practically. So when creating your designs, I think I should go to my Figma. Okay, when creating your designs, you see something like this. So this is a design for a mobile app. So you notice that there are colors, there are buttons, there are text, there are icons. You understand? All these things are components you put together to make up your UI UX project, design project. So if you are working on a product, you put elements together and components to form the final output of your product. So this is an example of a mobile app design. So you notice a button right here. This is a button, get started button. Let me zoom out for this. Is a button, continue. These are text. You see all of this. So I want to show you how to achieve something like this in the shortest way possible. So that's why we're talking about the design system, because when you have your design system in place, you can achieve this. I'll show you a quick example before we continue that definition. So when you look at the right side of my screen, you notice this local style. You see text styles. Let me scroll down. You see color styles. You see grid styles. I think this is all I have for now. There could be elevation styles as well. So let's go back to my presentation. So it is design system is categorized into two parts. We have the style guide and components. So design component, but let's begin with the style guide. So under the style guide, we have colors, elevation, typography, grid layout. We'll be doing all of this in the course of this training. I'll be showing you how to do all of this. We have colors, elevation, typography. We talked about your text, their typeface, font family, and all of that. Then we have the grid layout. I'll be showing you all of these things firsthand. Stay with me. So the next category of our design system, of design system generally, is called design components. There are lots of components. I'll show you all the components you need to know, but in this presentation I only highlighted 5 of them. I said the buttons, cards. Let me make these buttons, cards. These words might be strange to you, but don't worry. Welcome to class. I'll show you everything you need to know. So we have the buttons, we have cards, we have navigation bar, we have text field, that's text input field, we have search bar, we have sliders, we have more. So in this module I'll be walking you through the style guide. We'll be looking at the style guide, and in the next part of this module I'm going to be talking about the design component. So how do we get to see all of this design system, or how do we create them? How do we get a first-hand experience of these components and systems? So we'll be making use of the material design system. Material design system, remember the definition said, let's go back to the definition. I said a design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards. Please take note of this word, clear standard. Let me give this a quick color. Okay, so design systems are guided by clear standards. Take for instance standards like maybe your brand color, the hex code if you are talking about colors. Same thing about theming. You want to talk about typography. So all these are done based on some standards, especially for the component. So material design system is an industry guide that gives us the industry standard of some of these components. So we'll be exploring material design system in course of this training, and we'll be doing a practical session on Figma. You understand? We'll be doing a practical section on Figma. So I'll begin by showing you what material design looks like. So I'll just go to their website. The website is material.io, material.io. You notice what the website looks like. So you notice that the link or the URL has changed to m3.material.io. So before now we had material design 1, material design 2, and as time went on the industry standard changed, because material design 1 gives you, like I said, this is industry standard. So maybe let's say you are designing for an Android phone. The way Android phones used to look like 5 years ago is not the way it is right now, because things have changed. The iOS, Android and all of that, things are changing by the day. So you may not be able to access material design 1 and 2 again, because this industry standard have moved. Let's just see what they have. They say material design material 3 is the latest. Can you see the latest version of Google's open source design system? So this is an open source design system that gives you access to dimensions and token. Don't worry about my word. If it looks big, you see them firsthand. So what are tokens? Tokens are, okay, let's begin with styles. So when you click on styles, you now see colors, elevation, icons, motion. So if you are starting out as a UI UX designer, the material design guide should be like your textbook. If you want to excel in this part, it should be like your textbook. So you should visit this site as often as you can, whether you have projects you are working on or not. Of course, you should be practicing to get better. So this is one place you want to boost your UI UX design skill, because you'll be abreast with industry standards. So very quickly, under style guide, we have colors, we have elevation, talking about the shadow effect, we have icons, we have motion, we have shape, we have typography. But in this training I'll be walking you through colors, elevation, typography, and grid. You notice that there's no grid style here. That's because they're advancing. I don't know. In material design one, you find the grid style and their tokens. So very quickly, let's go back to our notes. Then we jump into Figma. So like I said, we'll be having a practical session on Figma, and we'll be exploring design systems. So very quickly, we'll go to Figma. So this is going to be our focus in the first part. This module is divided into two parts. We have the part for the style guide. You will be walking through how to set up your design system under the style guide category. Then when we're done with this, we'll go over to the components. We'll be talking about buttons, cards, sliders, navigation bar, and all of that. All those are components. So let's begin with the style guide. Over to my screen on Figma. So in this part of our training, I'll be walking you through how to create your style guide. What this does for you is that it helps you to fall back to what you've created in case you want to reuse it. You understand? Remember, design systems are collections of reusable components and styles. So I already have some here, but for the sake of this training, I'll teach you how to create them, and as well I'll teach you how to create them, and also how to save them. All right, very quick, let's begin. We'll begin with the grid. The grid helps you. What are grids? Grid layers helps you to achieve alignment when doing your design. You'll notice something, that from this place to the edge of this box and from this other place to the edge of the box are the same dimension. Are you getting me? That's because it is properly aligned. So what your grid does for is that it helps you achieve accurate dimension and accurate alignment. Let me show you something very quickly. Let's take a look at this application. For instance, you'll notice something from the email box to the edge, or should we use this line? From this line to the edge and from this other part to the edge is the same. This is what your grid line is going to do for you. You also notice the button from this side to the edge and from this side to the edge is also the same. So to achieve this kind of alignment, we work with grid. Grid also helps us to place our layout, our design layout properly. So without further explanation, let's quickly jump to our practical session. So we'll be doing grid for 3 different frames for mobile phone, tablet, and laptop. So let me just quickly change my background. All right, I like it when it's dark. So very quickly, of course, you are not new here, so you already know how to use the tools. So I'll just quickly set up my frames. So I'm going to be putting iPhone frame, tablet, and laptop. So very quickly, let me just use iPhone 13 Pro Max. iPhone 13 Pro Max. Okay, we have our mobile phone screen. Let me also get for our tablets. Let me do this like this. Let's use iPad. Okay, finally, let's get a frame for a laptop. We'll use 16 inches laptop. So all set. We have these screens already. So how do we set up our grid? Okay, let's begin with the phone. But before then, let me show you that we have dimensions. Okay, I believe you heard me mention the word token. So token is not a big word, it's just dimensions. You understand? So very quickly, let's begin with the phone. So when you want to create a grid style for your phone, There are some key things you need to pay attention to. Where we have the style of your grid. We have column, we have normal grid, we have rows. But in this training, I'll be walking you through the column grid. So for mobile phone, will be the grid has 4 counts. The gutter is 20 px and the margin is 16. Don't worry, I'm going to show you all of these things. So let's quickly go to where I have my phones. So for the iPhone, I'll just come over to, are you seeing the grid layout over here? My iPhone is already selected. Ensure you select before implementing your design. So I'll just select the iPhone 13. I'll come to this grid layout. Can you see the grid? So I'll just click on plus, the plus sign, and I've added my grid. Let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. So you see, this is the normal grid, but this is not what I want. I want something like this. I'll come over here. I see the grid layout grid setting. I'll click on this. Is on grid mode. I'll change it to column. And you notice that it has changed. I have how many counts here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the number of counts from our dimension is 4. Can you see this? 4 counts. So I'm going to quickly change this to 4. How do I change it? I'll just click on this place and I change it from 5 to 4. If I press enter, or I just go outside, you see it has changed to 4. One other thing I can do again is to set up the color. I could choose to give it any color I want, maybe something like this. Let me bring it out so you see what I'm doing. You can give it any color you want. You can also set the opacity. So just give it something that is not noisy. Okay, we're not done with our settings. That's for the color. So I can also set, okay, the type is stretch, so keep it stretch. Then the margin, we had how many in the margin? Let's check. What's the margin? Our margin here is 16, then our gutter is 20. So the margin value is the distance from the edge of your container to the column. So we'll just set that. We'll put margin value 16, 1 and 6. See that when you are pressing your phone, you're in real life, you notice that there is a small edge, like small space between, what's it called? There's a small space between the edge of your screen and your mobile app or your display. So that's the margin. So the gutter is this space, the space between each column. That's the gutter, and our gutter is set to 20. That's fine. So we'll just do that. So we're done with it. Let's just call this phone grid layout, phonegrid. So when we are done with our phone, how do we, okay, let's not save now, we'll save later. So let's go over to our iPad. What's our dimension? We have, the count is 8, the gutter is 20, the margin is 32, style is column. Okay, back to our design. I'll select it. I'll go to this place and click plus. Then I'll change it from normal grid to column. Remember, the goal of your grid layout is to help you achieve proper alignment when doing your design. You understand? Let me copy this hex code. Ctrl C. The hex code is E5BEBE. I want to give all of them the same color. So I'll just come here and paste it. And I think it's 30%. And press enter. See that it has changed, but it's 30%. Let's make this 30. So they have the same color now. So for the tablet, what's the other dimensions? Of course, we are going to keep it to stretch. So the gutter is 20, the margin is 32. think the margin of this one is a bit bigger since it's a tablet. So I'll go back to my design. I'll set this to um 20 and 32. So the gutter, which is 20, is the space between all these columns. I think I'll need to say this. It is necessary for you to use even numbers for your counts. When I did that of the phone at first, it had 5 counts, but I had to make it 4. The reason is this, so that when you are doing your, okay, let's say I want to put a box like this, for instance. Let me zoom out. If I want to put a box like this, are you seeing what's happening? um let me keep it. Once you see the red line, means it's on point. So if I want to duplicate this now, you see that the spacing between my boxes are even, you understand, like they are equal. So I don't need to be checking. But because of my grid, let me remove the grid so you see very well. So let me take this out. So you see the way it is now. You see that it's accurate. That's because of the help of my grid. Let me just make this curve a little. I'll go to the corner radius. Let's give this 10. So I have something like this. So this is how you do your work. So if, for instance, maybe this is a website, for instance, okay, I don't want to go advanced. I don't want to go advanced now. Let's focus on grid. Let me put this on again. You can do this by clicking this eye icon. So it's up now. So for the iPad, we're already done. I can just call this iPad grid, IPAD. So let's go back to the desktop, which is our MacBook. So what's the dimension? You might be wondering, I'm moving my screen. I'm holding my shift button and I'm scrolling my mouse. If I scroll upward, it goes right. If I scroll downwards, it comes left. So I must say this: if you are a designer, you need to have a mouse. Get a mouse. Your laptop mouse track pad might be good, but it's not good enough. Please get a mouse. So let's get the dimension for this. So for our laptop grid, we have how many counts? 12 counts. Our gutter is 24 and our margin is 60. So for laptops, you can use 60 and above depending on what you want, but at least it should be up to 60. So let's do that. I'll go back and I'll click on my grid layout. I'll click the plus sign. So I have my grid, but I don't want it in this form. I'll come to this grid setting. Then I'll change it from grid to columns. You see that's 5 counts. I'll make it 12. Enter. So I think I still have the color code copied. Let me just paste it. And I'll give this 30%. For the color code, it is at your own discretion. You can give it a blue color. Just give it something that you think is cool. The margin we had there is how many? Let's check. Let's confirm. Our margin here is 60. Then our gutter is 24. So I'll just come here and give the margin 60. You can do more. You can do more. Let's give the gutter 24. So I think I should just go to a website and show you what's the implication of this in real life. Okay, let me go to I go to my WhatsApp. I don't want to show you guys my private stuff. So let me just go to this website, Facebook, FA or Nike.com. Let's do Nike.com. Nike. I've been surfing this site lately. All right, see what we're talking about now. So you can see this. Okay. I think I even like what I saw previously. So let's just work with what I had on the screen already. So you see this inside design, or let's use this. So this InVision, this is their logo. The distance from here to here is the margin. You understand? The distance from the button to this place is the margin as well. So you notice that they are equal. You get, that's the margin playing out. So let's go back to Figma and see what we're doing. Okay, this is from here to here. So 60 is too small for our this thing, for our laptop. So let's just make it 120 instead. 60 looks too small. So if we make it 120, so you see how good it is. So from 120 upwards is better. 60 is very small for a good responsive design. You notice, okay, you see the distance. So if you scroll down, so anywhere we have right up, okay, this thing is also centralized. If you scroll down, you notice that I didn't even there was a footer here. Okay, look at this up next. You see this right up. Are you seeing all these images? You see that they are maintaining the margin. Can you see? They are maintaining that margin. Then the gutter they use help them achieve this what's it called? This equal distance between the images and their content. So this is what your grid layout is going to do for you. For are you seeing the spacing here and here is equal, and that's because of what's it called, the gutter. So we can choose to do something like that. If okay, let me just copy this. Let's say I want to put this here. I'm pressing alternate to copy that out. So it's on the first grid. I can just do something like this. Since this is 12, I'll divide by 4. So I can do something like this. I'm holding alternate to duplicate. Are you seeing how seamless it is? This is just the power of your grid line. So you may need to turn it off when you are not using it. So you see that they are equal. This is the power of the grid line, and that's that. So we're done with our grid lines. How then do we save? Let's just call this laptop grid, LAPTOP GRID. So when we are done with our grid, let me bring this up. How then do we save it? Remember, doing it is not making it the style guide. What makes it the style guide is that you have saved it. So if I click outside there, you will notice the styles I've saved. I see what do I have? A local styles, text styles, color styles, grid styles. So how then do you save this to your laptop so that you can make use of these grids subsequently? Let's quickly do that. I'll select the phone. So I'll come here. I've selected it. You see the dimensions here. So how do I save that? I'll come to this place. I in style. If you can see style, say I can see style. So you click on style. These are the ones I've saved previously. So I'll just come to this plus create style. Click on it. I'll give it a name. Phone grid, PHONE, phone grid. Then you could give it a description if you want, but I'm not going to give it. I'll just leave. You can give it something. Use this grid for phone or whatever it is. So you just click on create style. I think I have phone grid, so I'll use new phone grid to differentiate it. NEW, new phone grid. So when you click on save, are you seeing that it has given the name now, new phone grid? So if I click outside the, like I unselect the content, if I go down here, you see the new phone grid as reflected. So let's quickly save for the iPad and the laptop. So I'll select the iPad. What's showing here is 8 column auto and all that. That's not the name. That's because we have not saved it. So I'll just quickly click on this style, click on create style, and I'll call this new iPad grid, grid. Then I'll click on create style. So I'll do same for the laptop. It's 12 column because that's not been saved. I'll click on create style, new laptop laptop grid, and that's all. So we all have our grid. We now have our grid settings all saved. New phone, new iPad, new laptop. So what if you want to delete your grid, or you want to detach? Maybe you want to detach the grid. So okay, let's say, okay, let's quickly do something. So let me get a new frame. I'll just get, maybe, okay, let's work with the laptop. I'm using MacBook 14 this time around, so I have this here. So if I want to attach this grid, I don't need to come here and create. The reason for saving our style guide, remember, design systems are collections of reusable components and styles. So now I have my MacBook. Let's say I want to design more pages for a website. I don't need to come create a grid again. I'll just use the one I've saved. I'll come here, having selected, I'll just come to the grid layouts. Instead of doing plus to start setting up, I'll come to the styles, I'll click here, and I'll select new laptop grid, and you see that it has affected. So I don't need to create. So this is what makes it a design system: your ability to save it and reuse what you've saved before now. So what if I want to detach this? I don't want this one. I'll come here. Are you seeing this button, detach? If I click on detach style, I can now remove this, or I'll now give it a new style. Let's say I want to give it one of the ones I created before now, which is the desktop grid. Instead of using new laptop, let me just give it this. See that it has changed. So this is how your grid style works. So let's quickly, should we go further? Okay, I think I'll just do another video for typography and elevation and color. So I don't want this video to be too long, so for the sake of time, I'll stop here. So thank you very much for staying to the end. This is what our grid looks like. You can also remove the eyes, like under this video, just click the eyes to remove it. So that's that. So thank you very much for staying to the end. I wish you all the best in your UI UX design journey. See you in the better side of life. Thank you.